Hello learners, welcome to Math with Mr. Salim. And today we are going to discuss about, how we can estimate quotient by rounding off numbers. How to estimate quotient by rounding off numbers. Now, first of all, we need to understand what quotient is, okay? So, quotient is normally the answer you get when you divide two numbers. So when you divide two numbers, whatever you get, that's the quotient. That's a quotient, yeah? So let's see what we're going to do today. We're just going to estimate by rounding off. And in our case today, we're just going to round off to the nearest 10. Now let's pick two numbers. Let's have 117 and 27. Okay, so these are two numbers. Okay, now we're going to estimate, okay, after now rounding it off. So let's see how we can round it off. You see, we are going to round it off to the nearest 10. So in our case today, we're going to round off to the nearest 10. Nearest 10. That's what we're going to do today. So let's see. First of all, you'll have to round off the numbers first before you divide them. You have to round it off first before you divide them. So that rounding off is the same as, you're trying to estimate them. So let's see, 117. Okay, we are rounding it off to the nearest tens. Remember, we had talked about the place values, right? So this is ones, this is tens. So the number we're looking at here is 1, but then you're going to look at the number that is next to it. Okay? The number that is next to it is 7. So we say that if it is less than 5, we round down. If it is more than 5, we're going to round up. So this one is more than 5, right? So we're going to round up. Okay? If you round up, that means you're going to carry 1. So you add 1 on top of the number that is in the tens place, and that is 1. So we're going to make it to 2. So you're going to add here, and then it will be 2. So we have 1, 2, and then whatever that remains here is just 0. So we are done with the first number. Is that okay? Good. Let's move on to the next one. The next one we have ones, and then we have tens. But then we look at the number that is next to it. We either round it up or round it down. This one is more than 5, so we're going to round it up. We're going to add 1 here. If you add 1, what will happen? This will be 3, so this is 30. Perfect. So we have our two numbers here already. Is that okay? Now we want to find the quotient. The quotient is the number that you get after dividing the two numbers. Is that okay? So let's see. We're going to have 120 divided by 30. Sometimes to make your work easy, you don't need to, do it a long method. You can just simply say we have 120 divided by 30. So this 0 will go with this one. So what you're having is 12 over 3. So let's divide this and see what we're going to get. 3 goes to 12 how many times? Okay, so 3 times what gives you 12? 4, right? So here 3 times 4 gives you 12. So here we're going to write 12, and then we have nothing remaining there. Okay, so when you're writing the answer now, this is how you're going to write it. This is the quotient will be, what is the quotient? What do you get after dividing? It's 4, right? So our quotient is 4. It's as simple as that. Was it easy? Nice. So that's how you can calculate this. That was an easy problem, yeah? People say maths have a lot of problems, but this was an easy problem. So I think that's it. We can have another example, and then I can give you some take home. Is that okay? Okay, learners, now that you have done the first example, let's look at the second example. I'm sure it's going to be fun, yeah? Now we're going to round off to the nearest tens. First, we have to round off. After rounding off, you divide. That is what it means. Okay. So first we have to round off. We are rounding off to the nearest tens. Let's see. Here we have ones, and then here we have tens. Okay. The same here. Here we have ones. Here we have tens. Now we need to round off. Yeah. Let's see. This one is more than 5 or less than 5. It's less than 5. So we are rounding down, and if you round down, that becomes 0. Yeah. So we're going to have 0. What do you think we'll have here? It remains the same. So 2. Here, 6, 4. So we have 4,620. That's what we get if we round off to the nearest tens. How about this one? This one is more than 5, yeah? So we have to round up. Round up by adding 1. So what do we get here? 3, which makes it 30. So that's it. We're done with the first step. It's very simple, yeah? The next step we're going to do is just to divide these two numbers. So we're going to get 4620 divided by 30. Sometimes you don't need to stress with these big numbers. If you have zeros, just eliminate them. So 0 goes with this one, all right? So what do you have remaining? 462 divided by 3. And this is so easy to simplify. Let's see if we can divide it. So 3 goes to 4 how many times? Once. So you write 3, bring 1 down. Here it's 16. 3 goes to 16. 3 times what gives you 16? Of course it can't, right? But then 3 times 5 is almost there. So 15, okay? We have to subtract 1, then bring 2 down. 3 goes to 12 how many times? What do you multiply by 3 to get 12? 4. So here we have 4, and that's it. So what is our quotient? Quotient will be 154. How do you find it? I hope it's fun, right? Good. If in case you've been asked to find which one is the remainder, you can just simply say it's 0 because there's nothing there. So quotient is 154, the remainder is nothing, it's 0. So we don't need to write that one, okay? So let me give you some take home so that you can practice. So number 1, I will want you to round off this to the nearest 10, yeah? Okay, so you find the estimate of the quotient by rounding off to the nearest tens. So here, number 1, we have 452, or it's simply 4,521 and 24. So these are two numbers, yeah? The second one, 8,999 and 295, okay? And then we also have 639 and this is 47. I think these are enough, okay? So you can, try to practice, try to find if you can get the quotient. That's the end of the lesson for today, and I hope it really helps you when you're doing your math work. So see you in our next lesson. Bye-bye.